Good morning, everybody. How's everybody today? Hope you're all good. I have to keep an eye on the weather out here in Spain because recently there's been a lot of rain. Yesterday there was a silly amount. Marbella was flooded and everything. I live near Malaga. I live somewhere around here. So yeah, there's lots of extremely heavy rain and lots of flooding at the moment. So you have to keep an eye on the weather. Anyway, I digress. So what are we doing? We're trying to make the tabbed document UI test case still. We're using Cushy at the moment to do it, and this is what we've got so far. I did a bit of work yesterday, so now we've got a tab bar with little X buttons on it. That when you hover over them, go red, and when you press them, let you close tabs. Oh my God! It's like we're living in the new world. Oh, it's so exciting. No, why did I have to write this code myself? Like, why isn't it already in the framework? Like, tab system, please. Anyway, we still have the problem with the state being lost. You see, the state just got lost. I selected stuff, and when you switch tab, it disappears. We still got that problem, and I still haven't got a concrete answer. And there's been no answers in the Discord server for 2 days regarding how to fix that. That doesn't bode well. I've filled a few more requirements, so when there's only 2 tabs, you can see which one's active, because this one's got a little underline on it. You see, it's not just one thing. There's 2 things that you can see. So it's obvious when there's 3, and it's still obvious when there's only 2. Additionally, when you close tabs, come on IDE, there you go, just going to reopen them all again. When you close tabs, it's supposed to remember the order so that it switches back to the most previously used tab. So if we go this one, this one, this one, and then this one and close it, we should see home, text file 1 and text file 2 if we close them in that order. But no. Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, I did it the right way. I think, did I? Hold on. Am I confusing myself? Probably. It happens quite a lot. Okay, so we go, let's do it this way. Here we go. And then this one. So now it should be home. No, it's not. So that's not working. We've got bugs there. Don't know why that's not working. It's a bit strange because I use some of the same code from the ICE code base where that does work. So it's just opening. Oh, I don't know. I'll look into that later. I'm not dealing with that today. Not right now, anyway. Yeah. So I suppose I best untick that and suppose do a commit with that. Turns out that closing tab doesn't select the most recently used tab for some reason. Okay, well, yeah, okay. Okay. So that was supposed to work, but it's not. Okay, so we need to fix that. Yeah, what happened yesterday? Right, so quite a lot of things happened yesterday. Let me show you some madness. What I consider to be madness, anyway. Implement closing a single tab, right? This is what we had to do in order to do it. Get ready for just a crazy voyage. So in order to do it, well, yeah, we had to add tab items keys because when you try and close a tab, let me show you the close tab method. when you try and close the tab method, the widget list doesn't have any way of getting the tab ID from the widget that relates to the tab that you want to close, because all you get given, and correctly so, is a tab key. You want to say, close this tab, here's the tab key, right? So somehow you've got to find the tab in the list of tabs to close, but the buttons, the widget instances, so there's a widget instance for each tab, in addition to there being a tab instance, as in the tab kind, and in addition to having the container area, where you've got the widget for the actual content area for the tab, right? But the widget list API is such that it doesn't have any method of trying to get that out. Now I tried to use the data widget, right? Which is a widget that stores arbitrary data in the widget hierarchy. So you're like, all right, that sounds good. No. It turns out there's no way to actually get the data out of this widget once you put it in. So I thought about, wrapping the tab button in a data widget and putting the tab ID into the data. And that all worked fine. You can do that, but you can't get the data out again. It's basically just there so that you can have some data that gets dropped at the same time that the widget gets dropped. Which might be quite useful in certain cases, but I just wanted to get the data out of it. You can't. There's nothing to let you do it. Or at least if there is, I couldn't find it. So that was a no-go. So then we're back into this thing, and there's no drain implementation on the widget list. So you can't say, you can't pass like drain a closure and say, if this tab key is the one you want to delete, then remove it. There's no drain implementation. So that sucked. So what we ended up having to do was create a tab items keys. When you add a tab, it adds a tab to the list of keys. And then the keys is an ordered index and the widget list is an ordered index. And they both have the same index when you add a tab. So then you can go to the tab items keys, iterate over that, and at the same time iterate over the widgets, and then enumerate on it or zip them together, and then you've got the key for the widget. And then you can go, if it's the one you want to close, then don't keep it, filter it out. And then you can recreate the widget list from a new widget list instead of having to do drain. So that kind of sucked. Other things that sucked in this is that we had to make the whole tab bar clonable. The reason we had to do that is because when you add a tab, you create a close button, and the close button needs an on-click event handler, and you can't call self.closeTab with the tab key that you've got here, because you can't move self into the on-click close handler. So you have to do this. You have to basically clone self into a new dynamic and then move this tab bar, which is a reference to the self. So each tab bar close button has its own reference to the tab bar in a dynamic, which can then be locked when the event occurs. Then you've got essentially a self again, and then you can call close tab with the tab key. Yeah, not being able to call self dot some method in event handlers. I don't know whether I like it or not. I don't know. It's these reactive frameworks again. There's like, they don't have self, right? So I I normally do like OO related things, right? So I have a tab bar and I want to put a method on it which takes self, which then updates some stuff, right? And this is the OO way of thinking. And this is how my brain has been working for many, many years. And it's been fine. But in Rust, you sort of have to unlearn that and just go, yeah, either some random arbitrary method is fine, or some associated function is fine, or you have to do it completely differently. And I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. And then, oh my god, the close tab code. So that we're creating the tab, yeah. So closing tab, we have to go to the history, futz around with the history, activate the most recently used one, which apparently isn't working. I don't know why. I might need to dump the history or something like that before and after this to see what's going on. Yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, do all this stuff. Yeah. And it's not fun. Yeah. So we had to do all that to make it work. And it still doesn't work properly. And then I did a bunch of stuff to do with styling and all things like that. So, but to be honest, I don't want to work on the tabs anymore. Not today. So we're going to do something else today. We're going to try making a form and making the new button work. So the requirements for the new button are highlighted on the screen. And the idea is that you show a form, it's got 3 controls on it, name, type, directory, and then you've got an OK. We want to lay them out in a grid. And when you press OK, it's supposed to create a new tab. Replace the current tab with a new tab of the type that you wanted and create a document. Yeah. So, we're going to have a go at that. So, like we did with the iced version of this code, let me run that quickly so you can see it. So, I'll show you what we're going to try and build, which we managed to do in iced. Right. So we go new, and we've got a little form. We couldn't lay things out in a grid in iced because there's no grid widget, surprisingly. And the idea is that when you fill in the form and pick the type and press OK, then you get one of those types. So that's what we're trying to build. Something that's like that. Right, let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. Close all the tabs. Right then, here we go. So I guess it all starts with what, a tab bar, really, isn't it? Yeah, I've got a method somewhere which is create tab bar. Don't remember where it is though. Toolbar rather. Toolbar. Make document tab. Make somewhere. Here it is. So we've got a button that says new, and it sends a message. Wait, no. Well, I'm looking at it on Codebase. That's why I couldn't find it. Cushy. It doesn't send a message. That's the wrong Codebase. Let's try again. That's what I was trying to find. Make toolbar. So we've got a button, new, and at the moment it just prints out new clicked. So like, fine, okay. But that's not good enough. We want to do something. So let's say add new tab. Well, I don't think we need a context at this point, but we definitely need a tab bar in order to do this. So let's do that. Do we have a tab bar? Yeah, we've got a tab bar. Here it is. And this is the other thing with frameworks that use closures for handlers, you basically have to clone like everything before you can use these things in your handler. So clone. How many lines of code in here have got .clone on them? Oh wait, that's the wrong find. Oh no, I've got the wrong thing. We've got 14 occurrences of .clone, or 9 at the end of a line. You see, you have to do it quite a lot. I'm not a fan of it. It's just annoying. You have to wrap everything in dynamics and then clone them all the time. Anyway, let's move on. It's just an observation. Right, and then your methods, of course, you know, they take dynamics. So then I suppose, you know, we're going to have to add a new thing to the tab bar. So we're going to need a tab bar guard, which gets dropped at the end of the scope. And then we're going to do this thing. But it's not going to be a home tab that we're adding. Add tab. Needs a context, so we need a context as well. So yeah, I guess we need a context. So clone the context. Yeah, and this is a mutex, so we've got to lock it and unwrap it. So now we can pass the context over, but instead of adding a tab kind home, we're going to add a tab kind new, and it's going to be a new tab default. So I suppose we need to add the tab type first. So pub mod new, and then we go new tab. Now the home tab is like this. So we're going to do something similar for the new tab. And the point of the stuff that we're doing today is to see what it's like to create forms and do form validation and all this kind of stuff, right? And we're going to find out what it's like. Whether it's nice or whether it sucks. New tab, and also to find out what happens when you just try and do it, you know. Okay, so now we're going to have to do all these things. So new, we've got a new tab, and we create a label with it, and then here we've got to do this because we're delegating to it. So it's fine. So our new thing needs to go impl tab for new tab. And this new IDE feature seems to be working quite well. There's like this autocomplete thing, and it gets it right a lot of the time. It's quite surprising. So that's what we need to do. Let's go new. Let's just go new and then do. Is it make widget? Yeah. We'll just do that, and we're just going to say new here. Didn't get it right that time though. We've got to string. What happens now? For some reason it's got that context there. I don't know what happened there. Right, we need an import for that one. And we get 2 warnings, great. So we should get a new tab now with new in the middle of it. Great, we're making progress. So now we're going to make it work. Right. Let's start with a grid. Oh, okay. Shall we start with the grid? I don't know. Yeah, go on. Let's try this grid thing out. Is there a grid? Where is it? There's this. How does it work? A widget that arranges children, blah, 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 blah. So is there an example? Not really. Wait, what? Children into column and rows. Orientation. Why does a grid need orientation? That's a bit weird. A grid's a grid. Is it the orientation of the spans? But no, sure. Why does it need an orientation? How do you even pick an orientation for a grid? What? Why? Returns a grid that displays a list of rows and columns. A grid's always going to have rows and columns. It's a grid. Returns a grid that displays a list of columns of rows. Okay, that's really weird. So we're going to make a grid from columns, I think. Let's just see. So what do we want on this new form? We want a name field. Right. Name input, I suppose. What, input new, and then I suppose we want, wait for the cloning, here it comes, self dot name. Name is going to be a dynamic string probably, and then it's going to say you can't move it, so you got to clone it. I imagine that's what you're supposed to do. There is an example which has a form on it, right? And it's the login form example, right? So let's have a quick look at this. And of course, it's just bundled up into main. There's no structure in any of these examples. It's just like. But they're all dynamics anyway. What's this validation? I don't know. We're going to look at that at some point. That looks interesting. We'll come back to that. So we've got two things, and then we want. Let's try and add these to a row. Name row. Watch this. Name label, name input dot, and then what we're going to do, to row, no, into columns. Right, but this isn't the right way of doing this stuff. You're supposed to go name label dot and name input into columns, and I've got something that's called name row, and I'm using into columns on it, and this just blows my mind. Right, so then we're going to go let what? Grid from columns and pass it the row. It doesn't get any more mad than that. Like, in my head, this is what's in my head, right? Not that. When I've got conceptually a thing that's like this, row equals this. This thing is a row, right? If I did this, column is this, right? But in this framework, that terminology is not correct, apparently. Yeah. Okay. So, videos today. Rows versus columns. Let's save that. Yeah. Okay, moving on. So, it hurts my brain. So, name row. But it wants columns. And of course, the API is such that I don't know how to use it. Grid widgets. There is an example. So you go from rows and you go new grid widgets. Okay, I wasn't really expecting that. But fine, we'll try it. But what? What's the point of having from columns if you don't even create a column? What? Name label and name input. We'll just return that for now. Is this going to cause problems? Oh my god. So apparently we needed to add copy on here, but string is not copy. That's a little bit odd. What's in our other tabs? Why did we need to make them copy? So a document tab's got document key, so it's fine to copy this, right? Because document key implement probably implements copy. Right, and then the And then the home tab has got nothing in it, so it's obviously copy. But we can't do that. So, I don't know, I guess we'll take this off and then deal with the fallout. Because my new form needs to be copy. Or can't be copy, in fact. So, cannot be implemented for this type. That's correct. And then now we're going to have problems somewhere else, I imagine. The trait bound, blah, 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 is not... Alright, so we've got a trait bound here, because it needed copy. Because we needed a copy self to add closed tab functionality. Maybe we can add clone onto here. That might be okay. Can we clone it and then do that? Oh no. What was the problem? Trait bounds are not satisfied because why? Oh, because of this. Right, and then this is the fundamental problem. I suppose we can clone the tab instead. Into it to exist, but its trait bounds are not satisfied. Still, because of this. Oops. I typed in the same word instead of typing in clone. Okay, so maybe we don't need copy after all. Fine, good. Because I didn't want it anyway. So now what happens? So we go new, and we've got two things. Okay, fine. So it feels like we need to wrap the grid in something. Do we? Can we just go, well, yeah, because we've got the OK button, haven't we? Let's go grid dot and OK button and then go dot into columns, but then you get a row. Oh. So let's have an OK button. What, OK? See, look, the auto tab completion thing there. Look at that, magic. That's pretty good, isn't it? Right, so we've got this thing, and we've got that thing, and then we, I guess what? And then pad by doesn't do what you think. It creates a new thing. Do we want to do that into rows? what I want is like a bit of space on the left, a bit of space on the right, and then the form in the middle. We want it to be centered. And then I want some kind of like something. I don't know what I want here. What do we do? Do we want to space? Is it a space? Am I thinking of the right thing? Why has it got the wrong import? Don't do that. Like, why? What? Is it a dynamic? And then how do we specify that there's like, do we create another row or something stupid? And then go dot and the grid. Oh no, oh dearie me. Grid and OK button into rows centered. I want this stuff. Let form is that, I suppose. And then I want what? And the form and another space. And it's imported that again. I didn't do that. Is it clear? And then what? Into columns because I want a row. And then what? Oh yeah, expand. And does that do expand horizontal and vertical? Oh, it's got weighted. Okay, maybe we need expand weighted, let's say 1. And 1. And 8. And then we've got 10, I suppose, into columns. And then what is this? Expand what? I honestly, I've got no idea what's going to happen there right now. Let's just run it. New. So yeah, okay, so we got the form, and then I guess, well, the form didn't expand. What on earth does expand weighted supposed to do? Expand self to grow to fill its parent proportionally with other weighted siblings. But like, what direction does it expand when it's weighted? Do we go expand horizontally? Chances of being able to work that out from the API, 0. Let's look at an example. What? This is madness. This Fluent API, you just don't know what you're working with. Like, my IDE helps me a little bit here because it shows me I've got a stack and I've got an expand and I've got a widget list and so on. But if I wasn't doing this in IDE, or I was just looking at pull requests, I'd have no idea what on earth was going on. And if you see like a pull request and all you've got is 2 lines of context, like one above and one below, and you see like an expand being added into it, you've just got no hope of understanding what on earth it's trying to do. No. Fluent API, like this, no. No. Don't like it. Expand what? Expand what? Expand what? Like, to me, it looks like I've got 3 calls to the same method on the same thing. That's how my brain is reading and interpreting this. Like, what happens if you move this like 1 line up, for instance, or this one line down? Are you expanding the right thing anymore? No idea. You know, I don't know. I don't like it. I have no idea how to use this expand weighted. It didn't do what I wanted it to. There's no other examples. There's only that one. Proportionally with other weighted siblings, right? So other weighted siblings. So in the example here, let's just see if I can get this right. Where is the other weighted sibling? Answers on a postcard, please. Given up yet? Me too. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. How are we going to do this? I want a space on the left, I want the form in the middle, and I want a space on the right. And I want the 2 things on the left to take up the same amount of space, and I want the form in the middle to take up a proportional amount of space, and for it to fill any remaining space, and all of the things to fill all the available space. Do we need this here? I mean, I've got an expand. I don't know. Where should that be? Not there. Should it be centered? Ay, ay, ay. Oh, it's the centered thing that broke it. Oh. Fine. Moving on. That was obvious. Not. What's the resize behavior like then? Let's have a look. New. That is what I wanted it to do. So at least, you know, at least it does that. Now, the problem is this. I've got an OK button, and the OK button is taking up the whole thing, right? But the name input field is oddly sized. Do we do expand here, do we think? Not there. My bad. Do we do that? Oh. Oh no, it's clipped it now. Oh no. What? Do we not do this one? Did that make any difference? What happens if we do this? Okay, so it definitely needs that one. So I'm trying to create a grid, but it's clipping one of the elements from it. So from rows. And then you can go dimensions. I don't know how this is supposed to work here. Fit content. What's this? Why would you put dimensions? What? From columns, how the rows are measured. Okay, let's just leave it like that and see what happens. And then but dimensions gives you a self back. So what's the problem with that? We've got a grid of 1, and now it's moaning, and it's saying the grid dimension is not implemented for that. Does this example compile? How is this one okay? From rows. What's the difference? Do we think this compiles? I mean, it compiles. Does it run? No. It just crashes. Like, it just doesn't do anything. What? Why? No, it's broken. That's not very useful. So why doesn't this work? It says int value is not implemented for. Why does it want one only? Elements. Oh, do we have to? Why is it? Am I failing to understand how to add widgets to a grid? Oh, I think I see. Because I've only got one row and this is... Oh, I see, it's one for each row. Maybe. Or column, who knows. And we're running the wrong thing. Made no change. Let's take that off, see what happens. Is it the difference between columns and rows? Name columns. Let me just... It's not columns because there's only one of them. But here it says from columns, so it implies that the thing you add is a plural, right? Right? Just the naming of this is just insane. Thing one. Like, what is it? Name widgets. Because it's not row and it's not column and it's not columns. The only thing it is widgets, because this says widgets. Right, and then let's just duplicate this for the moment, because I want to understand. Oh, I suppose, yeah. and they're both going to update the same thing, and it's all fine. Probably not going to be all fine, but what? I don't understand how to create a grid. I don't understand how to create a grid. Grid which, oh yeah, you go and on the individual rows. Oh yeah, that's clear. Not. And then it's moaning for some reason. Why is it moaning? Wrapper widget is not implemented for grid 1. And grid widgets. What? Oh. Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. Probably, because I misunderstand everything. What's this username row look like? Right. So I was right. Name row. Let's get rid of this rubbish. And then what's it complaining about here? Used after being moved. Oops. It's supposed to be named label here. Let's try this again. Name 2 row. Name 2. Name 2. Fine. And then here we're supposed to go name row and name 2 row. And let's just call this grid widgets, because it is grid widgets. But it's still moaning about this. Why is it wrapper widget? Oh my god. What is this API like? You go grid widgets from. So you do that, but it's only saying grid widgets 1. Why? And am I supposed to be doing from rows now? I'm failing to understand what the difference is. Why does it think this is only a 1 here? Grid from rows. See, in here it's got a grid 2. Look. It's got a grid 2 here. What's the difference? What am I missing? I mean, seriously, what is the difference between that and this? Nothing. There is no difference. So why is it inferring the type to be a grid widgets 1 when you do this? Let's put a semicolon here and do this. Is it just the IDE being weird? Perhaps it's just the IDE being weird and there's no actual compile issue at all. No, it still thinks... Am I creating a row correctly? So here it goes... It's using a tuple. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the problem. You know, why in some cases do you have to use and in other cases do you have to use a tuple? Oh, see, now it's happy. Yeah, you'd guess that, wouldn't you? Not. Okay, what happens now? So now it's not clipping it, which is good. But what is going on with this alignment of this name thing here? Why isn't this left justified? Why is it centered? And then what difference does that make? Any? No idea how that works. Is that right? I mean, what happens if you do this? So this one is, I see, so this is fit content. Right, okay, that makes some kind of sense. But if you mix a fit content and a fractional, then the fractional one takes up the rest of the space and the fit content goes to the smallest space by the looks of it. Yeah, okay, so that does make sense. okay. So apparently we don't need these. Right. Let's deal with the second row properly. So, directory label. And then the problem is we've got three things on this. We've got an directory input, which is, we're going to do this, but we're going to go directory. And then we've got a directory button. With the ... thing on it. Right, and then the button and the input need to go together. And then we want into columns. And then I suppose this needs to be, no, don't do that. Dot expand. Why am I not getting any auto completion here? Okay, we'll deal with that in a bit. We'll just see what happens. So then the next row is going to be made up of some other stuff. Directory row. It's going to be made up of the directory label and these two things. And then we need to use this row here. What? Yeah, probably. So do we need to map this? Probably. Path. And then what? Make it return a string. Path dot toStir dot unwrap toString, something like that, perhaps. Yeah. Okay, and then can we go? Yeah, we can now. Then we can make it say expand horizontally, perhaps. Let's run that. Because the input wants a string to work on, right? So, yeah. That is kind of what I wanted. Okay, good. So we've got a problem with the spacing between the grid items. Can we specify a gutter? No. What else can we do? Okay, grid. Maybe we don't do it there. How do you specify gutter? What else can we do with the grid? Because we've got this is so the pad by puts padding around the thing and not onto the thing that you want. So that isn't actually what you want. I really don't like the way the padding is done in Cushy. Like these stacks have gutters, but the grid apparently doesn't. So let's go with and what. And then there was this padding thing, intrinsic padding, which is and let's say 4. Did we use this right? Is it? Do we? Oh my god! Do we have to go dot into on here? And then. What's the problem? With, it's got no matching bracket. How about this one? Does this have a matching bracket now? Oh. Oh, are we supposed to specify 2 things? Because there's vertical and horizontal. God. It's just... Yeah, I don't know about this. I really don't. This is what I did before when I wanted some padding. Intrinsic padding px new 3. Maybe we don't need an into here. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Does it need 2 things here? No. Why? Why? What is the problem? Why is it? This method wants 2 arguments. What component? This component is opt-in and does not automatically work for all widgets. Great. Why does it say... I don't understand the component system in Cushy at all. What is a component? Like, define components. Components. How about start with a component is, and then define what a component is, so that the rest of the information makes sense. Because having a named component doesn't tell you what a component is. What is it? Okay. How was I doing this before? Oh, wait, what? What? Oh, it's supposed to be like this. Oh, okay. So it's not like this. It's like this. Right. Okay. Do we think I fixed it? It wasn't clear to me which. No. How do you set the padding between the name row and the directory row? That's what I want to know. It's apparently not that. Okay, maybe let's look for other examples. I mean, the align example doesn't even work, so yeah. Let's look for a different example. Let's see what this does. So here, there's also no space between the rows. So there's no gutter. So stacks have gutters. Grid says it's got a gutter though. Second parameter, content round. Yeah, it's getting intrinsic padding. Requires gutter. sure this all makes sense to the author, but it doesn't make sense to me. Gosh. I mean, this is a tuple, so that's never going to go on there. What can we do with this? Nothing. You know, I've... There. Oops, wrong one. Yeah. Fix me failing to set any hi Soralf. What we're trying to do, thanks for joining the stream, is to create a tabbed document user interface example in GUIs, but the entire project isn't about creating GUIs. The entire project is about creating pick and place machine software written in Rust. But in order to do that, you need graphical user interfaces. And before you can use a graphical user interface, you need to choose a framework to use to create your graphical user interface with. So for the last 2 months now, I've been evaluating various different graphical user interfaces. And we're currently looking at Cushy, the links to which are in the video description. And we're not having a fun time, and that's putting it mildly. We're not having a fun time using any of the GUI frameworks thus far. So yeah, failing to set a gutter between the rows. Has no effect. No visible effect. So we'll just leave that for another day. Yes, I have hardware. I'm not currently in the point where I'm writing the code for the pick and place machine. I'm on the project planning side of things. So the idea is that when you're creating a PCB, you need to put components on it. No, I'm not using React or any kind of JS or web technologies to do it. So no using a C compiler, no using web technologies, pure Rust, all day long. That's it. Yeah. I've gone through some of the reasoning behind this in previous videos. Yeah. Right, okay, so whatever. So where are we now? So this is what we've got. And then this is what we've got in this. And let me bring up the iced version of this so that we can compare. Right, we've got this one. And we couldn't lay this out in a grid. And in iced we couldn't set a minimum window size, but at least we can do that in Cushy. Right. So, yeah. Are we supposed to create a... I know what we can do to set a gutter. I have an idea. It's a stupid idea, but I'm going to do it. So because we can't set a gutter... Oh, no, we can't do it like this. I suppose we can create a row, which is a stupid way to do it, but we're going to do it. Let gutter row 1. And then just go perks new with 5 pixels, right? And then because this is dumb, we're going to do just the same thing again. And then we're going to create our grid to fit the content. And we're going to do this. And then, oh, still only 2 columns. Still only 2 columns. That's correct, right? Okay, let's see if it sucks now. Okay, so now we've got a manual gutter. Let's say, fix me. This is dumb. No, let's be nicer and use better language in the code. Fix me. Remove this workaround for lack of grid gutter support. Just remember, lots of people read the code and they don't want to read the word dumb, even though it is dumb. Right. Okay. Let's just do a work in progress commit. Work in progress. And we're going to amend this one later, because we've done a lot. So let me just catch up with the comments. No, Tory is not fine because it uses web technologies. Yes. Rustokism. Yeah. Sorav, no, I want to create the entire system in Rust. Every single thing. So the planning software is going to be in Rust. The GUI is going to be in Rust. At the moment, we've got a command line interface. If you're only just joining the project, let me show you what we've got. What we've got, before we went down this 2-month-long voyage of looking into GUIs, what we've got is a CLI app, right, with a main method, which has a bunch of arguments, which basically deal with the process flow of creating user interface process flow of creating assemblies. Yeah. If I close this, this is where we got to with all the assembly variants and all this kind of stuff. So we've done all this, but we've got a CLI app for it, and we want to make a GUI app for it, and we want to have a GUI app that lets us open multiple workflows at the same time, each in their own tab. Right, and then this basically is going to be used for spitting out various different artifacts, and then later it will coordinate with where are we? It'll coordinate with the machine control, which is this. This is sort of like the rough architecture. My mouse wheel's not zooming. Okay. might be a little bit small for you. Is this zoom? Can we zoom? Can we zoom this? Yeah, there we go. So at the moment we're doing the UI planning, right? And then at some point we're going to have some embedded software, or maybe stuff that runs on a Linux machine. I haven't decided yet. And then there's going to be some code which interacts with a control board, and this is all going to be Rust as well. And the control boards are probably going to be they're probably going to be using some commercially available off-the-shelf Gerbery control system, which interacts with the machine job, and then the UI planning interacts with the machine job, and then you've got a panel for the operator which also interacts with the machine job. That's sort of where we're going with everything. Everything is open source. Everything is open source. At some point there might be some like value add things for that might be closed source, for instance. But the idea is that the core of the system should be open enough to allow anybody to use it, in a similar manner to OpenPnP. So maybe, you know, some vendors might want to provide plugins for the system to support their own feeders, and they want those to be commercial, for instance. I'm not against that at all. But enough of the core should be open, which I think is fair. It seems fair, really, because it's a lot of work creating such a system, and it's a lot of work maintaining a system. So, and people need to put a roof over their head, and to put a roof over their head, you need income. So, you know, you got it's something. Something has to give somewhere. If everything is free, then, you know, you have to rely on donations, but it's not really. I don't know. I mean, it's quite niche as well, this is, so there's not a lot of users. So with some apps, you could have lots of users, and therefore, if only a few of the users donate, then it's fine. But when you've got pick and place machine software, there's limited users, but some of the users are companies, and sometimes companies have some surplus cash, which they might throw at you. So, yeah, don't know. But this isn't targeted at like commercial, like large organisations, because they're able to buy more expensive machines. RTOS. On the machine control side of things, I'm not there yet, so I'm not ready to answer these questions about that kind of stuff. I'll probably think more about that when we get into that. But at the moment, we're trying to create planning stuff. And the reason that we're doing planning stuff and not focused on the machine control is because the machine control is just one part of an overall process, right? So there's a lot to make in a PCB, and machine control is just one small part of it. So what you need as a maker is like a decent workflow. Otherwise, you just spend all your time doing stupid things which should be automated, which no one has really done. It seems. So the planning software should be able to also work for manual assembly as well, right? You don't even need a pick and place machine to use the workflow system that we're building. And sometimes when you're creating a PCB, you might want pick and place on the top, and then manual place parts on the bottom, or you might want to use, for example, for through-hole components, right, on a dual technology board. And that's what we're dealing with. All right, so back to this. Right. So where are we? So we've got a form. Okay. We're missing the type field. Okay, Let's add the type field. So let's create another gutter row, because I'm going to create these in order. So we've got a name row, and then we've got a gutter row, and we're going to call this one gutter row 2, and then we're going to have one of these, and then we're going to have another row which is going to be the type row, and the type row is going to be made up of some stuff that goes in a tuple, and it's going to have a type label and a type drop down. Okay, and the type label is going to be created from what? Oh yeah, type into label, and IDE helping with the auto completion now. Type input. No, you see, type drop down. Go on, auto complete that. No. What do we do? Drop down. I don't know how to create drop downs. Is it called a pick list or something silly? No. How about, is there even a drop down? I thought there was. You see, the problem with trying lots of user interfaces, right, is you don't even know the names for things because everybody calls it something different. Input list, login, menu, modal, monitor. Switcher? No. Okay, let's look in the list of widgets then, I suppose. D for drop down. No. Is it a select? Maybe it's a select. No, a select is something else entirely different. Well, I guess we can't use a drop down. Did I make a note of that in... where's my... Hold on. So we've been going and we've been creating this spreadsheet. Right. Let me drop a link to this in the chat. And there was a drop down here. Oh, that's right. We did look for one before and we found that there wasn't one. Hence it gets a big red flag. So we have to do something else. So I suppose the only sane alternative is to use radio box group. So yeah, how to create one. Let's see if we can find an example. Radio. Oh, see, in this example, it doesn't show you what happens when you change the choice. Like, where do I put the on-click handler for the radio? Oh my god. And how are they grouped together? Fine. So it starts with a dynamic. Okay, fine. I really didn't want to do this, but whatever. So no. So let's create the choices first, and these are going to be text or image. See, but I specifically didn't want to have a default. Can you have a radio box where none of them are selected initially? No. Because then the option would be a dynamic. Oh, jeez. Oh. I wanted an optional choice. Like type. Oh, you can't use type. I suppose we go kind, or for kind is probably better. And we'll call it kind choice. What we want is an optional kind choice. Because when we present the form to the user, we don't want to select any of the radio buttons, just in the same way that you could have a drop down where you haven't selected anything yet. I don't want a default. The user has to pick one or the other, but they can't pick both. So that's what we need, but can we do it? Okay, so fine. So what you were supposed to do is not this. Type choice. And this needs to be what? Self.kind. And then we go dot into oh no, you go new radio. And why does this want a you see. Ah. Okay, let's see if we can make it happen. None. I don't know if this is going to work. Labeled by I mean, I don't think that's what it wants there. Kind choice text. I suppose this needs to be some of this, right? Label by text. And then we have to use this rather annoying what? Oh, I see. We have to go. Oh no. Really? Is that what we have to do? Oh, this is crazy. Then after you've done all that, I suppose we can go into rows. Into columns, I suppose. Really. Because I want a row. But I have to go column. I don't know whether this. I don't know whether we need this. Okay, let's just see what happens. Right, so this is what we've got. We've got text or not text. Oh, we forgot the label, didn't we? And it's doing a good job of auto-completing there, wasn't it? Do you see that? That was pretty good. Right, so you can pick text or image, and none were selected, and you can't not select one. Right. While we're at this point, let's do this. Okay. So at least this state is maintained. Right. Let's make a selection here. So it loses a selection. Yeah, it's annoying, that is. But at least there is some form of state being retained between the two tabs, which is good. Okay. I was worried that that wasn't going to work. Fine. So, now what? Somehow we need to look at stuff. Oh, well, okay. So we've got an OK button here, right? Let's add an on-click handler to this. And then let's, inside this, we need something else though. We're gonna need stuff. What do we need? I don't know what we're going to need right now, but let's go println. Yeah, it's not the event that I want. Oops. And what do we want here? I want to print out the choice. I want to print out the kind. So obviously we want to go self.kind, but we can't do that because we haven't got self in the event handler. So we need to copy the kind into something else. So let's say let kind is self.kind.clone, and this is where you have to clone everything all the time. And let's see if that. And then of course we have to move kind into the closure. And then perhaps we can run it. Right. So we're gonna press OK, and it says none. And then we're gonna press one of the things. Now we've got some text and some image. So that works. Okay. Fine. So before we can create a new tab of the right kind, I mean, how I don't want to do the form validation, right? What I'm thinking about now is how do we get all this information back to main that needs to be adding the actual document. Do we need to go back to main at all? What we need to do so in main, we've got these documents, right? So what we're going to have to do at some point is to access the tab bar, replace the tab that we're on with a new document, and then, well, and before we can do that, we need to create the document as well. So we need at least the tab bar and the documents. Right. So when we're creating this, we've got this context, right? Okay, let me look at the methods on main for again. So we've got a make document tab, right? So really we want to do something similar to this. Let's just hard code some stuff for a minute and ignore the fact that we've even got a form. Let's just borrow all this. Some duplication is okay. We can refactor it afterwards. Let's just paste all this in here. Right, so we don't have this documents. So let's just temporarily go let document is document kind, and then what? A text document. And let's just say foo. Let's not do that because it might crash. Let's give it the name of an actual file, which is going to be something like examples / tabbed document UI. Oops. Assets. Text file 1. Right. Later, this will come from the form itself. But let's just hard code this for now and just see what problems we get while we're trying to do this. So we've got a text document, we've got from path, we've got this, we've got that. Dot. I suppose we need a Are we missing a bracket? No. So we've got a document, but we don't have documents. So we need to use the context that we've got to get the documents. But we don't have this context in here, so we have to go... Oh, well, okay. I'm not sure whether we can do this. We might need to clone the context. And we have to call with context. But I think we need to specify type. Oh, God. Yeah. We have to do this rubbish. I suppose this. I suppose we can create the document inside this. Yeah, and this, you know, whatever. The fact that this knows the type of this is a bit silly, but whatever. So we get the key, we've got a documents card, the document, this needs to be mutable. And then the document tab can be a new document tab, and then this needs to know about tabs, which I suppose is okay. And then we need Can we do something because we've got this two with context things here, and then when you do with context, okay. I'm trying to work out whether we can nest or need to nest these. We can clone this and return it if we need to. Let's go let documents is this, and then just go documents.clone because it's a dynamic, right? And then if we unwrap this, oops, like this, so then we've got the documents, fine. So we can lock the documents. Right, there's right. And then we need to do the same for the tab bar, which I suppose and then I guess we need to look in main for the type, which is a tab bar of type tab kind and not a slot map document kind thing. We need one more of those, and then we can get the tab bar. And then we've got a tab bar. Do we even need to do this? I suppose we can do this stuff outside of here for now. Right. And then let's go let documents is documents clone and let tab bar is tab bar clone. Right, and then if we've got any other handlers, they can also access the documents and things like this. It's fine. Right. So then we go to the tab bar and we lock it. And we say add a tab. But we don't want to add a tab. We want to replace a tab. And then we don't actually need to return anything. We're just going to say it's unused. So at some point we need to call replace here, but we don't have replace implemented yet. And then we've got problems here. So what is escaping? Context is a reference that's only valid inside the method body. where's it using context? Why? Oh, it's here. Right, fine. Let context. I mean, do we can we even do that? Oops, daisy. Can we do that? No. Okay, so let's move this up here. Done context. And then this. And let's use done context here. Yeah, you see, you can't do it. And then, can we clone the context? No, that would be a bad idea. No, it's all rubbish. I hate this. It's just madness. So yeah, we can't access the context. We can't pass. We can't call. We can't call add tab because we've got no context, right? That we can pass here. And this is why I hate these closures. One, you have to clone everything, and two, everything must live forever, or you have to clone some kind of reference to it. So, you know, we've got add tab, and this takes a context. Right, and the label and the make content both need a mutable context, right, in order to do their job. Let's look for an implementation of one of these. Right, and what it does, it says, give me the documents, and it gets the path from it. And this is just madness by itself. Really, you just want sort of this. And maybe that. Like, What I'm wondering about doing is changing the tab API yeah, come on then, to use a dynamic context. Dynamic everywhere. Whee! Right. So no. So I suppose you have to go .lock. It's not totally hideous, I suppose. Then what? It's quite a faff, this, isn't it? I suppose I could just copy this to the clipboard and just copy and paste it a bit. I'm just going to lock it twice for now. I don't want to deal with unlocking it. We're just going to do that for now. Right. So we've got a dynamic context, which means that when we call this add tab with a context, we can perhaps make this also a dynamic context like that. Is it a reference to a dynamic? Oh gosh, it probably is, isn't it? Oh no. Oh no. So I suppose this. Yeah. So we'll just fix up more of these. Oh dear. Oh, this was supposed to be a reference. Yeah. And you gotta come back to all of these and fix them all up. So now we can do that. Fine. Let's see what happens now. So we've got some mismatch types. So make document tab wants a context, but probably not. Probably it needs this. Adding a new tab is going to need that as well, I suppose. And adding a home tab is also going to need it for the same reason. So we do that instead. And And then we've got this context for later. Now I suppose here we can just pass this around instead. Which has got a dumb name, but we're not going to worry about that. Context for later. So it's not really this one. This context in the app state is arc mutex context, but can it just be a dynamic now instead? Let's just make it a dynamic context. Why not? Okay. Oops. Let's do that. And then clone it here. And then we've got this context for later, so now we cloned it so we can use the same one, maybe. Okay. Let's clone that one. Maybe we don't need to do that. Maybe open document has still got the wrong... Yeah, it does. Okay. New method for unwrap. Make toolbar. Add home tab once a dynamic context. And then this context is already a dynamic, so we can just pass a reference to the context. And the same here, I suppose. And probably the same on this one too. Okay. Borrowed data escapes outside of methods. So we've still got this problem. But that should now be able to be fixed. By cloning the context reference thing. Fixed. That one is unused, it's true. We don't care about that. We don't care about that. We don't care about those. Why it's got into widget list there? That's a bit weird. It's not showing it in grey. Okay, fine. So when I press the OK button, oh, well, it panicked when I pressed the new button before I even got to pressing the OK. So it died here. Why? This one was okay, but this one died. Did we not put the oh. Did we not put the tab bar in the context? Probably not. So somewhere we create our tab bar. Like here it is. But we've not put it in the context. Okay, fine. Fine. So we'll move this up. And we'll do this. Okay, new. Okay, we've got a form, so we fix that. So when we press this, we expect a new tab to be created with a file. No, panic. Why is it panic? It panicked because it's deadlocked. This is the face of surprisedness. Not. I'm drinking out of my green mug now. Because the other day I accidentally dropped my favourite Wally mug and it broke into like 6 pieces. I'm not happy about it. I'm going to glue him back together and put it on the shelf. And then I have to use my spare Wally, which I've got in the cupboard. Because you need at least one Wally mug. I can't live my life without a Wally mug. So now what we've got to do to fix this problem is to go back through the call stack and look at every method that locked the context or whatever it is it's trying to unlock. So let's go back through the call stack and find the first bit of our code here. So we've got a documents guard and we're locking it, right? But this document is already locked somewhere. So, where might it be locked? So we've got is the documents already locked here? See, documents is already locked here, you see. So I guess we have to drop the documents guard after we've finished futzing around with it. We could either do this, or we could not create the guard in the first place and just have a temporary one and do this. Because we don't need to do anything else other than call insert with the documents. So that might fix that. New. Okay. Okay. Well, at least we were able to do that. So let's do another work in progress commit. Right. But now what we need to do is actually create the right kind of document based on the information that's in the form and not allow the OK button to even be pressed until the form is valid. But before we can get to that, we need to make the ... button work. And we need to make the directory input. Ooh, actually, I was going to say we want to make it read-only, but do we? We do, otherwise we have to feed it. Yeah, I'm going to make it read-only. So, yeah, what am I talking about? Okay, so when we've got this form, right, this thing, currently we can type into here, but if we just type into here, it's garbage. What we want to do is make this button, bring up a native directory pickery thingamy, right? Like we did for the iced example, which works like this. And it lets you pick a directory and you can press OK or select folder and then it shows you that. And it's grayed out. And you're supposed to use this to do it and not type into here. Now, if you like paste in your paths like I do, and every good person on Windows should do, you're okay because you can paste a path in here or you can paste a path in here, right? So it's fine. If you've got a rubbish directory picker that doesn't allow you to paste paths, then maybe you want this to be read and writable. Yeah. Because I really hate it when you're looking at, like, you know, Explorer, right? And you're looking at a path, just like randomly like this. And you've got the path, you copy it to the clipboard, and then it makes you choose the directory again using some kind of tree view thing, instead of just being able to paste the path in and say OK. Right, anyway, so let's make this ... thing work. So I saw an example of a file picker here. Let's run this example. Does it use system dialog? What do we think? Pick folder. I bet it's going to use RFD to do it. Oh no. What is this rubbish? No, show above window. Ah, here we go. That's the kind that we want. So we need to know what works there. Show in app. Okay, show above window. Let's go show above window. So we've got show above window. On click. Yeah, just loads of methods which never take self. They're just random methods floating around, doing nothing. You know, some people, I don't know. I like encapsulation. I don't just like loads of random methods. Encapsulation versus non-encapsulation. What's the point of being able to create a struct and add implementations to it if you never use the structs? Ugh. OO and encapsulation versus not. A lot of people that use Rust don't do encapsulation. There was a video about that. Quick Flash sent it me. And in the land of Java and Kotlin and so on, and Scala to an extent as well, encapsulation is used widely. And then this video was saying, no, don't do encapsulation, it's rubbish. But I'm like, encapsulation focuses what it is you're trying to do, in my mind. Yeah, let me see if I can find. It was on it's a YouTube thingy. Encapsulation, zero encapsulation or something like this. No, I don't know. I'll find it and I'll put a comment on the video on the video or something like that. I'll try and find it. Yeah. Can I find? Yeah. Anyway, we're not going to watch it now. Anyway. Encapsulation versus no encapsulation. Yeah, I do have YouTube history. I'll find it in there somewhere, or I've got it in another Discord server's list, or a personal PM or whatever. So, yeah, I'll paste the link. Yeah. Right, so we've got to use a file picker, and we've got show picker in, and then it's got a target, and then it's got this stuff, and then pick folders. So we go file picker, and then this, where's this? So you do a new file picker, and it gives a file picker back, and then it says pick folders. And then when it's done that, it does this, probably. On dismiss. Yeah, okay. So that's what we're supposed to be doing. So this is how you create a file picker. So where's our dot 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 button? Here it is. Dot on click. Here we go. Oh, why has it done that? And let's create one of these, because you know you're going to need it. And then we're probably going to have to move something in here. And then meh, I don't know what goes in there. Oh yeah, it was an event. Then we need to do some stuff. That's one of the things that we need to do. Let's go pick a folder. Or let's just say folder. Choose a folder. With types. Well, you know, for now, we've got, yeah. Yeah. So what is this? This is a tuple. Oh dear, wrong one. Right. So we're going to need all files. And then what do you put in here? Do you put star? Well, it's not all files, is it? I'm thinking of the wrong thing. We don't need it. We don't need types for a folder. I was thinking of the other thing. Import that. And then you're supposed to go what? Oops. And you're supposed to say pick at the end of it, and you've got target, which is what? What? Pick folder. Okay. And then what's this want? What on earth is this? Pick in thing. What is this? What? What? What is this argument? What is this? Pick folder. Shows a file picker in a given. What? What? What on earth? Window handle. This API is very odd. Let's just put this here because I've no idea what on earth this is. But I think you're supposed to say pick in and then give it a window and then some callback. Meh. So we've got a path, and then we might have a path here. And then if we've got a path, then we'll shadow it and then do something with the path. Let's print then the path. Yeah, we can do that, yeah. Okay, and let's see if that compiles. That's the wrong thing. Let's try running it. Oh, it compiled. What do we think it's going to do? Nothing. Okay. Why doesn't it do anything? Let's just see if the on-click handler even works. No, I did the wrong thing there. That's supposed to be in here. Like, on-click works, but then why doesn't it's returning a file picker, but isn't this the actual thing that you're supposed to call? Shows a picker and invokes on dismiss when the dialog is dismissed. So why doesn't it show us anything? Is it because no. Pick folder. And then we've got a window handle. Do we think that this line of code gets called? New. It does. Do we think it's broken? How is it broken? So window execute, that didn't work. So it didn't run this bit of code, but why not? So execute didn't run its closure. Why? 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 What aren't we doing? So it does that. And it creates self with a box. And we create a box. And it calls send. And if it's a pending window, and if there is a handle, pending commands lock push message. But what happens to a pending window? Fine. Then what? Nothing happens. What on earth is a pending window? Because we don't know anything about pending windows, but apparently it's okay to make this work. Are we supposed to do something with a pending window? Pending. I see. So, oh god, right. So this pending needs to be opened, but we need a handle to it. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be as simple as doing this. Okay, so what we're going to do is get the window handle from the context. So in main, we can provide something. So if we go context.provide, and then let's go pending, and then let's slap these in here. Right? No, not that. Window. Can we clone window handles? Yes, you can clone window handles, but do we care about cloning it? Probably not at this point. So then, instead of doing what we were doing, where we do the run, we have to do something else. So it went with root. Pending and then with root, and then what on earth is picker mode? We don't care about that really. With root, and then you open it. We'll try that. So let's go pending dot with root, and let's say dot I'm not sure if it's exactly like this. Make window? And then it's wrong, obviously. Okay, so it's not really make window. We want to just make widget. Oh, I see. Oh, this has got the window. Okay, so here we go make widget, and then here we take this out, and perhaps we stick these here. But it's already a window, so I don't think we need this. And then we go, now we've got this. Okay, let's say UI dot open. Is that right? Open with an app, and then the app is the thing which is the app state. What are we not doing here? So we've got with root, pending is a pending window. So after and then this is a window still, right? Let's just call it UI for a minute, the same as R1, and then that all still builds. So what's the deal here? And then this app is, where's this open coming from? This is open on window, and our UI is a window. So why can't we call open on it then? Why? Yeah, okay. Well, on open now. What's the difference? Let's just comment that out for a moment. And comment, oh dear, oh dear. Let's just get rid of these in case this is the problem. We've got a window. What am I missing here? UI is a window, and this window type is this one. And then this file picker thing here has a UI, and this window is the same one. So it's a window. What's the difference? Why is there no open method that I can call? I mean, there's where behavior is window behavior. Okay, so perhaps our... No, it's the same one. I don't understand. Oh, is it just because... Oh, I didn't look at the error message. Does it want that? A mutable reference to the app. App state is mutable app. What's wrong with this now? Application is not implemented for app state. Do we have to derive it? App. Do we have to import application for app? I don't know. I mean, is that... Oh, okay, fine. So that's not the right thing. I don't know why we need all this. Why do we need this window command thing and all this stuff? Seems app is already defined. Where? Do I have it somewhere else? We've already got one. Oh, I see. But I need to create an app? What? Just there's a macro malarkey. What's all this about? Can we... Do I really need this? Right, so then we need app. here. Does it need to be mutable? But this one's not mutable. Oh, I see. It passes it to it. Okay, so right. I think we're getting there. Right. No. Oh, mismatched types. Cushy result. Let's look at this again. So we just go OK at the end. But if it fails, it OK, fine. Yeah, OK, fine. We can do the same thing here. Okay, so we've just got warnings now, which is good. Application run, that's fine. Can't find value window. Right, so now we can get back to actually doing what we were trying to do, which was trying to add window to the context and then get it out. So we need a window handle from the context. So here, we can get the context and do all this stuff. We can go let window, its context as lock, and then go window handle. And import that. Probably this one, but it might not be. Let's check main and see where this lives. This is Cushy window handle. Yeah, okay. So now we've got a window, but no. And we can clone it because it's a handle, right? Yeah. Okay. Right. So what does it need now? Window handlers. Okay. I don't really need to specify the type here. And now it compiles. But does it work? Oh my gosh, it worked. Okay, so we say okay, and we've got a path. Right, I'm going to leave it there for now, because this is crazy. Work in progress. Another one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to take a break, get some lunch and so on, because we've been going 3 hours now. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty then. So, I guess I'll continue futzing around with the new dialogue and see if we can make that do stuff, and perhaps look into doing the form validation and all the rest of that stuff. And yeah, just crack on a bit more and see where we get, I suppose. Okay, so just remember, folks, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll find out on the next one. See ya.